Did you get hit in the face? Kind of looks like something like hit you in the face. And then over on your arm, shoulder, right here. That's new, huh? It's kind of a new mark.
Gabby Petito was a bright young woman full of dreams. She grew up with a love for travel, adventure, and sharing her life online. She met Brian Laundrie, and like many young couples,
I'm Brian.
And I'm Gabby.
And this is our Ford Transit Connect that we've been living in. And we thought it was finally time to give you this.
they quickly fell into what looked like a sweet romance. They shared pictures, smiles, and plans that seemed to promise a lifetime together. Gabby believed she had found her partner for the road ahead. Their relationship was seen as warm and hopeful, especially to friends and family who watched from the outside. As their bond grew, they began planning a cross-country road trip. It was not just a holiday, but a lifestyle they wanted to show the world. For Gabby, it was a chance to live her dream, exploring nature, living free, and capturing moments to share with her followers. For Brian, it seemed like a journey to prove he could live outside the normal rules of life. Together, they set out in a van that became their little home on wheels. The couple's story at first looked like a tale of young love chasing freedom. They laughed, posed for photos, and built an image of perfect happiness. But love is not always what it seems. Underneath the smiles, there were already cracks. Those who looked closely noticed small signs, moments of stress, control, and unease. Yet at this stage, Gabby's story was still painted as a bright beginning, the start of an American road trip full of hope and love. Road trip. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie started their cross-country journey in the summer of 2021. They turned their van into a small home, carrying only what they needed. For Gabby, this was not just a trip. It was the dream of freedom, adventure, and creating a life of travel. She planned to share their story on social media, showing beautiful landscapes and the joy of living simply on the road. The couple traveled through national parks, campgrounds, and quiet towns. Gabby posted photos of sunsets, mountain views, and the cozy van where they lived. To her followers, it looked like the perfect adventure, a young couple living every traveler's dream. Families and friends admired their courage and happiness, thinking the trip would only make their bond stronger. But road trips test relationships. Hours of driving, money worries, and daily challenges began to weigh on them. Small disagreements often grew into tense moments. In photos, the smiles stayed, but behind the scenes, the pressure of van life was showing. Still, Gabby wanted to believe in the dream. She kept creating content, hoping the good times would last. The road trip became more than travel. It was a mirror of their relationship. Every mile carried joy, but also hidden storms. What seemed like a journey of love was slowly becoming a path filled with silence, conflict, and shadows unseen by the world. Online smiles. Gabby Petito loved to share her life online. She posted photos of wide skies, peaceful campsites, and the happy moments she captured with Brian Laundrie. On Instagram and YouTube, their life looked perfect. Smiles, laughter, and love filled every frame. Her posts painted the picture of a young couple living the dream, traveling America in a van, free and full of joy. Many people admired her, seeing her as a symbol of courage and adventure. But social media often hides the truth. Behind the camera, Gabby struggled with stress, pressure, and moments of conflict. While the world saw a smiling face, those close to her sometimes sensed her unease. Yet Gabby wanted her story to inspire, not worry. She worked hard to keep her content bright, choosing carefully what to show and what to hide. The online smiles became a mask, one that fooled not only the audience but sometimes even Gabby herself. It was the image of a perfect life. But behind it, shadows were growing darker, waiting to break through. Hidden fights. As the journey continued, the happy image of Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie began to crack. Behind the photos and videos, arguments were becoming common. Life on the road was not always easy. Long drives, hot weather, and the small space of the van often created tension. What seemed like a dream adventure was slowly turning into a test of patience and control. Witnesses and reports later revealed troubling signs. In public, Gabby was seen upset, sometimes crying, while Brian appeared angry or controlling. A police body cam recording from Utah showed a glimpse of their struggle. Gabby looked frightened and anxious, blaming herself for the tension, while Brian stayed distant. The world only saw a short moment, but it raised questions about what was really happening between them. For Gabby, every fight left a deeper mark. She wanted peace, wanted to believe that love could overcome the cracks. Yet the signs of stress and imbalance were growing stronger. The freedom of the road was supposed to bring them closer, but instead, it was revealing the fragility of their bond. These hidden fights were a warning, though many did not see it at the time. To outsiders, the couple still looked like young travelers chasing their dream. But for Gabby, the journey was no longer about joy. It was about trying to hold on, even as the walls of their small van began to close in around her. Van life turns dark. What began as an adventure now grew heavy with silence and fear. Gabby Petito's dream of van life was slipping away. The open road no longer felt free, it felt narrow, closed in by tension. She still tried to create light through her videos and posts, but behind the camera, the joy was fading fast. The arguments with Brian Laundrie were sharper now, harder to ignore, and the balance of power in their relationship was tilting. Small disagreements turned into long stretches of cold silence. Gabby's natural warmth, her eagerness to connect with people, seemed dimmed when she was around Brian. He appeared controlling, often pulling away or reacting with anger. For Gabby, trapped in the small van, there was little escape. The trip that was meant to be freedom had become a cage on wheels. To outsiders, their journey still looked picture perfect. Sunsets, mountains, and forests filled her feed. Yet even in the beauty of nature, darkness followed. Friends noticed changes in Gabby's tone during calls, her smile not as bright, her voice carrying hidden worry. Search begins when Gabby Petito stopped answering calls and messages. Her family grew worried. At first, they hoped it was just poor phone service on the road. But days passed, and there was no word from her. The photos and cheerful posts had stopped. A deep fear settled in, and her parents knew something was wrong. They reached out to Brian Laundrie, but his silence only made the worry worse. Gabby's family reported her missing, and soon the case spread across the country. Police began looking into her last known locations, tracing the journey she and Brian had taken. Social media, once the place where Gabby shared her joy, now became the tool for strangers and friends alike to share her story and search for answers. Hashtags with her name spread quickly, and people across America joined in, hoping to help. Meanwhile, Brian returned home alone, driving the same van that had once carried them both. His refusal to speak to Gabby's family or cooperate with police deepened suspicion. To many it was clear that something terrible had happened. Tragic find on September 19, 2021. The search for Gabby Petito came to a heartbreaking end. Her remains were discovered near a campsite in Wyoming's Grand Teton National Park, the same area where she had been seen with Brian Laundrie just weeks earlier. The wide-open land that once symbolized freedom and beauty now held the weight of loss. For her family, the news shattered every hope. For the nation, it turned a mystery into a tragedy. The FBI confirmed what many had feared. Gabby had been killed. The autopsy later revealed her death was a homicide by strangulation. She was only 22 years old. Her smiling face, once seen in joyful travel posts, was now shown on news broadcasts as the victim of a story that had gripped millions. The tragic find marked the end of Gabby's journey, but it also marked the beginning of a larger conversation. Her story, though filled with sorrow, became a voice for countless others who could no longer speak for themselves. Nation in shock, the discovery of Gabby Petito's death sent shockwaves across the United States. Millions had followed her story online, hoping for a safe return. When the truth was revealed, sadness quickly turned into grief, anger, and reflection. News outlets covered every detail, while social media became a place of mourning. Strangers who never knew Gabby felt connected to her, her smile now a haunting reminder of how quickly life can be taken away. Her case sparked a national outcry about domestic violence and missing persons. People questioned how signs of abuse had been overlooked and why it often takes tragedy for the world to pay attention. Advocates used Gabby's story to push for more awareness, reminding everyone that behind every headline is a real life, a real family, and a preventable loss. Meanwhile, Brian Laundrie vanished, deepening the shock and frustration. His disappearance turned the case into one of the most widely followed manhunts in recent history. The unanswered questions only fueled the nation's grief. Gabby Petito's story became more than a tragedy, it became a mirror held up to society. It forced people to look closer at the dangers hidden behind smiles, at the fragility of young love, and at the urgent need to protect those whose voices are silenced too soon. The nation was left shaken, forever carrying the memory of Gabby's short, beautiful, and heartbreaking journey.